Welcome to the final pitch of the Design Post-COVID Humanity Program, based on the 3 virtues, Ta'aruf, Ta'awun, and Tarahum. DPCH is under the umbrella of Maker Majlis, an initiative organized by College of Islamic Studies at Hamad bin Khalifa University in Qatar. I am Alina Zaman, and I will be your MC for today. We will have 8 finalists pitching their ideas today, after all of the hard work over the last 6 months, all of which have been accomplished and overcome to reach this point. Hats off to their accomplishments thus far. All teams should be proud of themselves. I would now like to welcome the organizer of Maker Majlis, Professor Evren Talk, to brief us on the DPCH program, which envisions creating a space where youth's energy and passion could be channeled toward achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Professor Evren Talk, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, dear Alina, and thanks to everyone and single person, actually, every single person, organization, collaborator, partner, entity, wherever, whenever you actually lend your support to us and guidance to us. Alhamdulillah, we managed to build a community of practice, and at the same time, a community revolving around important virtues. And in Maker Majlis Design Post-COVID Humanity Program, we focused on 3 important virtues: Ta'aruf, Ta'awun, and Tarahum. And today, it's so mesmerizing to see that we have 8 final groups of students, youth members, who have been trying to find solutions, who have been tackling global problems from local perspectives, and who have been mobilizing their resources in order to find impactful opportunities for the humanity. So this was very timely for us because it was a time of COVID-19. Last year, around late February and March, where we were stuck with all our events, and we had to move all our physical and on-site events to a remote platform, a digital or blended options. So in this difficult context, we have seen that there are so many like-minded organizations. Some of them we already knew, and some of them were new to us. But what happened at the end was, through the support of amazing organizations like SOGLAB, Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum, Riyadh Innovation Center, Nobox Lab from Morocco, and Silatech from Qatar, Qatar Science and Technology Park, Business Incubation Center, Qatar Development Bank, United Nations Development Program, and many others that maybe I am not able to cite them right now. We accomplished a nuanced and innovative perspective to design the post-COVID humanity. And today, we are really honored by yourselves, dear esteemed jury members, for your time, for your effort, and for your wisdom to help us finalize Design Post-COVID Humanity event. Although our Ramadan Summit is still going on, we are having these amazing talks every single day of Ramadan, except Fridays. But in terms of the finalization of the program, today is the end of Design Post-COVID Humanity in terms of the way students are represented. So thank you so much. I don't want to take more time. Today is not my day. Today is the day of our jury and the presenting and the pitching groups. Thank you so much, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Talk. I would now like to introduce our distinguished and esteemed jury members. As your name is called, please enlighten the audience by sharing a few words about yourself and your expectations for today. So firstly, Mr. Amin Matni from the Qatar Business Incubation Center. Please unmute yourself and share your words.
Good afternoon. Regards to everybody, Ramadan Kareem. Thank you, Dr. Took, for the invite, and we look forward to hearing the pitches, and hopefully there will be amazing leads for us to consider and invite them to our incubation programs. So best wishes, and thank you again for the invite.
Thank you, Mr. Amin Matni. And secondly, Mr. Burak Keskik from Technopark Istanbul.
Hi everyone, I am Burak Kesik from Technopark Istanbul. It's great and honor to be here, listening all those great ideas and seeing that Islamic entrepreneurship is growing and helping post-COVID world, humanity. It's really great contribution to the world actually. Thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you, Mr. Burak. And thirdly, Ms. Nada Bahzad, founder of Masr.
Hello, thank you for having me. It's a great opportunity. I am Nada Bahzad. As a career-wise, I work with Teach for Qatar, so I'm an English teacher. So I'm extremely passionate about education. At the same time, I'm the founder of Masar.qa, an online platform that focuses on transforming personal and career development within the youth. So I focus on empowering them through using technology. So I'm extremely passionate about social entrepreneurship, and I'm very excited to hear all the projects, and it's an honor to be with along with all the juries here with us today. So thank you for this opportunity, and I wish everybody the best of luck.
Thank you, Ms. Nada. And next we will be having Ms. Natalia Manhal from Beyond Group.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm also very excited about the pitches today, and I feel you're probably one of the first groups to start thinking of what we're going to be doing post-COVID. So super excited and truly inspiring. So looking forward.
Thank you. Next, Mr. Sami Sardar from Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum.
Thank you, first of all, having me here, and I will welcome all the team members and best of luck for everyone. And we know and we strongly believe that youth will change the future. Then fortune is in your hand, and let's grab it. That's what I say on behalf of ICYF and Young Business Hub, which does all the effort for the success of the youth. Thank you, Mr. Evren and his team for this great program. And I wish everyone luck for today's pitching session. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sami. And next, Mr. Sayed Shahzad from Ox Education.
نحمد ونصلي الله على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all of you. And greetings from Australia, actually. Excited to be here. My background is at tech. I've been a tech entrepreneur pretty much all my life. Been working with ICYF and OIC for some years, and just super excited to see what the young ones have got here for us. Good luck to all of you, and I'll be here inshallah for throughout the event.
Thank you, Mr. Shahzad. And next, Ms. Wadha Al-Aqam from Qatar Science and Technology Park.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Wadha Al-Adgham. I'm in charge of innovation mindset education programs. You might be familiar with some of these initiatives like Stars of Science, Arab Innovation Academy. I'm excited to be with you here. I hear there will be many startups that focus on having impact post-COVID, and I look forward to hearing your pitches.
Thank you, Ms. Wadha. And last but not the least, Mr. Hussam Zuraid.
Hello, good afternoon to all. Thank you, Elena. Thank you all. I'm very much happy to be here. My name is Hussam Zuraid. I represent a few investors, and I had a successful record of business startups here in Doha, mainly on focusing on healthy environment business setups, and very much looking forward to see what added value the guys are presenting, and wish you all the best.
Thank you, Mr. Hussam, for being the angel investor as a jury member for today. Now, moving on, all of the jury members would have received the evaluation forms for the pitching. So this is the criteria for the evaluation of the pitches, and it will be based on the following components. Number one, for the social innovation of the pitch. Second, feasibility. Third, effectiveness. Fourth, the social business model. 5, sustainability, 6, impact, 7, team potential, and number 8, the overflow of the pitch. Once each team has finished pitching, jury members are kindly requested to complete the evaluation form. And now for the agenda for today will be as follows. We will be having 8 teams pitching the ideas under 6 minutes. The first 3 minutes will be them pitching their idea, and the last 3 minutes will be allocated to the jury members for asking any questions. Allow the final pitch to begin. Let's start off with our first pitch for today, Team 27, Haya Hona. This initiative aims to raise awareness about period poverty among underprivileged women and plans to take action when it comes to protecting their health and well-being. Unfortunately, they are not able to join us today, so we will be showing a recorded pitch. Please present the recorded pitch.
Just to confirm, can everybody see it? The screen?
Yes.
Hi, we are Team 27, and we would like to introduce to you our project of tackling period poverty through our Heya Hona initiative. Let us first define what period poverty stands for: inability to access and afford feminine sanitary products. Our mission is to tackle period poverty sustainably by manufacturing affordable sanitary pads. Our vision is to aspire to design environment-friendly creative solutions for social issues affecting women. Let us introduce you to Ziana, 17 years old. Sometimes she has to skip school for a week because her family cannot afford to buy quality sanitary pads, and she has to resort to using pieces of t-shirts as pads. Her story is one of the millions of girls around the world who deal with lack of access and affordability to much-needed sanitary products. As an alternative solution, girls use unhygienic materials such as paper or plastic or homemade washcloth. This is period poverty, a major violation of women's right to a decent quality life. Although this problem is being tackled in many ways around the world, we found that they are environmentally taxing and pose a challenge, in addition to being quite expensive compared to other basic amenities. The problem we want to shed light on is how most feminine hygiene products are not sustainable or eco-friendly and incur the pink tax, which is a gender-based pricing with upcharge on products traditionally intended for women. And this needs to change, period. As we address the issue of period poverty, we would like to draw your attention to another issue of the apparel waste produced by fashion and textile industries. As you can see, 92 million tons of textiles waste is created each year globally. And this is extremely problematic. So our solution is to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We want to source our raw material from the apparel waste produced by the garments industry. Our operation will first involve collecting the garment waste from factories, then setting up a small processing unit to sort, wash, clean, and tailor the sanitary pads. And we want to employ women here who can use their skills and expertise. Our location of operation is in Gaza, Palestine, where the textile and clothing industry is the 2nd largest industrial employer. It boasts 760 factories, including small enterprises operating out of individual homes. The apparel waste that can be collected for free or a very small fee will be useful in reducing the pricing of our end product while supporting local SMEs in their waste management. Our customers will include women and girls from lower socioeconomic backgrounds who may find other sustainable sanitary options expensive, hence inaccessible in terms of affordability. We hope to establish partnerships with local distributors to reach our customers. Social media platforms will serve as our initial platform to advertise the product, as the target customer segment uses social media like Instagram or Facebook for regular shopping. With your support, a simple idea as this can prove innovative and impactful in the long run. We believe that with this startup, we can attempt to tackle 2 issues which are going to be socially impactful on both fronts. For women who need cheaper alternatives for reusable sanitary pads, and helping reduce the waste and pollution added to landfills from the garment industry.
Okay, jury members, you will now have 2 minutes to fill out the evaluation forms before we move on to the next pitch. Thank you. And meanwhile, team 33, would you like to share your screen?
And we should make the co-host, right?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Yes, hello. I will share the screen.
So our second pitch for today is Team 33. This pitch is about a mobile game for young people in urban areas to learn about heritage and culture, more culture.
I'm ready to start.
Yes, you may begin, please.
Once upon a time, Sami and Asiya discovered that they lack cultural knowledge, and the problem that they saw is the absence of heritage and culture awareness can give young people a lack of sense of belonging to their community, which will impact their identity. They also know from their parents that culture is not enough present in education, and children just spend hours playing games, and they discovered from teachers that they lack interactive tools to teach culture and history to the students. So the solution that they came up with is More Culture, a mobile app for young people in urban areas to learn about heritage and culture. For the demonstration, there is 4 features. The first one is selecting a character, then discovering the regions and the categories, then learning about the items in it, and winning prizes that can be very useful afterwards. Regarding the value proposition, there is a big potential of endless learning of verified information, enhancing user engagement through gaming, creating a sense of community, and preserving culture and heritage. For the market size, there is more than 3 million Moroccan young people between 10 and 70 years old are living in urban areas. Regarding the business model, More Culture base the model on exchange of visibility with income, and businesses can appear on the game and also in several items in it. And also More Culture can offer for schools, companies and other institutions a lot of activities and workshops, events, and also tournaments to make it more fun. Regarding the impact, having a young generation with a strong sense of belonging is very important, as well as preserving culture and heritage and increasing the awareness of it. Regarding the go-to-market strategy, from teasing to promoting More Culture on social media, there is also free activities for schools and museums to discover more culture, and having a landing page is also useful, as well as including QR codes so they can actually install the game very easily. In the roadmap, Asiya and Sami, they want to cover Morocco by the end of January 2023 and also expand internationally, especially in Arabic countries. This is the wonderful team behind the scenes. Fatima Zahra, urban planner, me as a video maker, and Lena as a content writer. Our ask is first to find a game developer that can take the lead of the game development. Also, a big help in marketing can be very useful, and a first fundraising to make More Culture a reality in real life. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, for the jury members, collectively, if you have any top burning questions, please ask them. Under 3 minutes. I will start the timer now.
I have a question. So I understand the game and the platform you are offering, but what is exactly the problem you are solving?
The problem we are solving is normally, as you can see in the first slide, there is an absence of heritage and culture awareness we conducted several interviews and we did a lot of exercises, and we discovered that especially children, when they go around cultural places or historical sites, they are not aware of their history, and they are also not aware of the story behind it and what is useful for. So this is the main problem that we detected. And also by knowing those informations about culture and heritage from their parents and their grandparents, by knowing more about them, they feel more included in their society or in their neighborhoods.
I have another question. As a parent, the game will attract me because I would love my child to learn about his culture or her culture. But how do you plan on attracting young people? Because it's just a game, another game.
Yeah, so first of all, we planned to reach the young people in their institutions. So we plan to have this game included in, or just as we mentioned before, free activities in schools and institutions. So normally, as you can see here in this slide, in the first workshop, it can be in form of a game, and also it can be a form of just an interactive workshop with the students, so they can feel themselves included in the game by the characters, so they can see themselves in Sami, and they can see themselves in Asiya, as there is gender equality, and they can also discover the Moroccan culture and heritage by content, or by like adapting the game to them, and seeing that they actually feel more included, or they have more knowledge at the end of the game. So normally it is applied in schools, but also in museums and cultural centers. We can always organize tournaments or games, and normally we will have a first audience that can test the game and see how amazing it is.
I have my question.
Excuse me, apologies, time is up. You will be given a chance to ask the question for the next team. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Team More Culture. Now for the third pitch, we will be having team number 24, which is a web-based tree planting system for students. Please welcome Shajara Initiative.
So much, Ina. So just a second while we're sharing our slides. Zaid?
Can you allow me to share the slides? Please.
Just a second.
Okay, I'll try on my side. It says it's not uploaded here. Yasmin, do you have them actually? Because it's on our sheet, it doesn't exist.
Hello? Dr. Tuk, could you repeat what you said? My internet connection cut for a minute. What do you need a presentation?
Shajara, on the final pitch decks, I cannot see their...
Yeah, because they did not submit it. As per what they told Muna, they were gonna like finish it up and do it today. So is anyone from Shajara Initiative in the room?
We will
if you can allow me to share
from our side.
Yep.
Yeah, they were late to submit the final pitch deck, but they have it ready with them now.
Okay, can you please make them co-hosts?
Okay, so who's gonna present?
It's me.
Zaid Al-Haj Muhammad.
You should be able to do it actually without being a co-host. Please, can you share your screen?
Yeah, it says his host disabled participant screen sharing. So
no, I made the co-host there, Khalid, right?
Abdul, no, actually Zaid.
Okay.
Apologies for the delay.
All right.
Okay, bismillah. If we condense the entire existence of this planet to 24 hours, mankind has only been here for 3 seconds. In these 3 seconds, we have destroyed our planet. Every minute, 36 football fields of trees are deforested. Carbon emissions are off the charts. We rely on these industries for survival, so shutting them down is not the answer. Our solution is two-pronged. Plant enough trees to absorb CO2, and in the process, create a generation of aware and environmentally responsible youth to reform these systems. We are the Shajara Initiative, and together, let's make Earth green again.
Our model has 3 phases. In the pre-service phase, we pitched the idea to universities in our countries and have received great enthusiasm. Our goal is for universities to adopt our initiative and make the planting of trees a requisite for all of their students. Once agreements are reached with universities, students will get access to the tree planting portals, thus starting their tree planting journey. The platform updates students on the service and post-service phase, the purchase of trees, delivery, planting, and sustenance. For planting, students volunteer to be actively involved in the process. Quarterly progress reports update stakeholders. The areas of planting will be geotagged so enablers can check and even visit their trees. Finally, a cycle of feedback will ensure that we keep improving. The world is realizing and making efforts to curb this problem. To name a few, Malaysia, Jordan, and Pakistan have launched massive tree planting campaigns and want forestry as a compulsory subject in schools. This creates acceptability to our initiative with its unique approach to involve students. Our idea is aimed to ensure an immediate and lasting impact. Our model is a fee-for-service model. Through feedback, we learned that the fee students are willing to pay for our service covers planting and sustaining up to 2 trees. Our costs include operations, acquisition of saplings, transportation, planting, and sustenance. A total of $8 per tree can cover that until the trees reach maturity. Other sources of revenue will include CSR sponsorships, mobile application returns, percentage of crop yields, and merchandise, which will enable us to scale this initiative.
Universities are our early adopters. They are mega consumers of paper, which contributes to 60% of deforestation. And they also give direct access to minds of youth. Jordanian universities graduate 75,000 students yearly. In our model, if our model is adopted, enable the planting of 150,000 trees with revenue going up to 1.5 million, and more responsible attitudes from these students. Our first milestone is to reach an agreement with the university to implement our initiative. We need connections with universities and related organizations to help us achieve it.
Excuse me,
further,
sir, time is up. Kindly, please conclude your idea.
Perfect. Our aim is to implement this initiative in at least 1 university by the end of this year and 5 more universities in the following year. 3 seconds of our existence has caused immense damage. Time is of the essence, and only together we can make it to the 4th second. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, I would now like to kindly ask Mr. Amin Matni from the jury members to raise his question for Team 24.
Thank you, team, for your pitch. My question would be in relation to your adopters. So if you're considering schools as your channel partners, you put on all these numbers. These are the cost structure of it, and you put in some margins to it. So how, my suggestion here is not per se a question. From an engagement perspective, would you waive everything to a student to do, or you will enter the logistics? Because I believe the logistics are pretty much expensive.
Sorry, Khalid, you want to take that?
No, go ahead.
Okay, based on our model, we are the ones who provide the logistics. So that is the service that we provide. For the fee, which we will be charging the students of the universities that come on board our plan. So the students will only be providing that fee, and we will be providing all the logistics and the service while keeping these students involved in the process. So for example, they can volunteer to plant the trees, and there will be other volunteer activities accordingly. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I understood from your pitch. From what I see and what we know from the region, that logistics is very expensive. If you want to operate, you need to own some assets which have high depreciation rates. So the cost of logistics is really high. But my suggestion is, would you waive those fees to the engaged or the ones who believes in your ethos to internalize those costs because they're engaged and they believe in the cause, and they can take all these costs, and maybe you can create like an overarching process to make sure that these happens. Just a suggestion, but because the numbers for me are too difficult to be feasible.
That's exactly what's happening. If you look at the numbers, if Zaid can open them, the proposed cost for a country like Jordan is $20 per student. Now, if we judge by basic transportation cost or logistical cost, sapling cost, sustenance cost, we are doing far better than what we are going to be spending. So the student, the cost that he provides us or that we ask is going to or will cover everything that is involved in the process of planting all the way to the plant reaching its self-reliance.
Okay, thank you. Miss Natalia, would you like to raise your question now?
Sure. Thank you for the idea. It's a very important topic. I have a few concerns/questions. So the first is, there are a lot of initiatives that revolve around planting trees and increasing awareness about the need to plant more trees that are happening. And most of those are within nonprofits, and they're free of charge, I would say, for students in general, but also for the wide population. So one, what will make students actually pay to have this? Especially that I feel the engagement element of students is not really convincing. So, I mean, reports about where the tree is not something, I mean, I was a student at some point, and I don't think this alone would have really pushed me to actually adopt the idea that you're suggesting. It's super important, but just these are two concerns that I have.
Okay, Abdullah, can I take this?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Okay, so the reason why we have to reach agreements with universities is because, as we said in our presentation, the university has to make it a requisite for these students to plant the trees. So it's not an effort that we are going to do as Shajara alone, and it's not an effort that the student is going to do on their own, and it's not an effort that the university is going to have to do on its own. It's everybody joining hands together in making this possible. Now, we will do the work part. The university will have to do some of the, you know, they might have to change some rules, and the students might have to, or will be contributing some to plant the trees. So it's a joint effort, and that's what's going to make it possible. It's not that we are going to, like, you see, the problem is far bigger than just keeping it up to the person to participate or not. We feel that the participation must be, in a way or another, made sort of mandatory, even though mandatory is too big of a word for me to use right now. I hope that answers you, Natalia.
Okay, thank you so much. We will take Miss Nada's question now. Please unmute yourself.
Sure. May I know, to validate your idea, who have you spoken to?
Abdullah?
Can you hear me?
Around, we actually interviewed about 50 students, and all of them were excited for the idea, and they were enthusiastic to, like, what's next for you guys?
And they're willing to pay?
They are actually an average of $50. Some of them more, some of them less, but the average was $47 to be exact.
Okay, and have you spoken to universities to see if they agree to do this? Because as Khalid, you just said, I feel like your answer was kind of based on hopes that they would change the curriculum or that they would make it kind of mandatory for the students. You don't really want to base you don't want to have assumptions or hopes. You want to know that for sure the universities are agreeing to implement this program with the students. So did you reach out to any universities to assess that?
Abdullah?
You have 10 seconds.
Okay, so we did reach out to some universities in Malaysia
yes.
to be,
yeah, to some universities in.
He's breaking.
It's all right, time's up, it's okay.
Sorry guys, it's a big time pressure we're having, so thank you there, juries.
Okay, thank you. So for our next pitch, we will be having team 11, RUX, a platform designed for youth to learn and grow financially and socially, in addition to getting connected with potential employers. Please present your pitch. Team 11.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Well, we do hear about bulletproof jackets, but what about future-proof? It is so devastating knowing that the pandemic has hijacked fellow Malaysians and Indonesians, leaving them desperately looking for a job. Well, we were shocked when there are reported suicidal cases due to unable to pay debts. Small medium enterprises are collapsing and people turn to selling burgers by the roadside. Drum rolls, never fear, because RUX is here. We wish to provide a platform for talents and a common ground for employers or trainers to monitor progress of their employees and users respectively. Everyone, please buckle up your seatbelt because we are going to watch some glimpses of RUX.
Aisha fills in her details and able to download her resume automatically. Aisha uses the RUX website to filter courses based on her interests. On course completion, Aisha gains RUX Star points and redeem her points with food vouchers and participate actively in events, while Aisha publishes her handmade product and sells in RUX Market. Aisha applies for a job and directly conducts job interviews at RUX website. Aisha is now the head of marketing and outreach at Malindo X, and knowledge and time are precious and you could be doing much more with yours. Learn, be active, grow financially, or get hired, all at the convenience of a click. Begin your rockstar life with RUX. RUX, future-proofing through future skilling.
We promise uniqueness for talents to automatically generate a resume, free certification and rewards upon course completion on our website. And on School at RUX, employers or trainers able to choose productive talents, publish job opportunities and modules, and monitor progress of each employer or talent. RUX is so unique, whereby we have 3 features that would convince you to invest on us. For RUX, we are planning to earn revenue in 2 ways, which are freemium model and also the cooperative model. Our go-to-market strategies will be based on young adult customers, which we will set up roadshows in universities and provide referral codes for pre-launch of RUX. To keep our customers with us, we value feedback and provide coupon codes for live video sessions. In the first year, we hope to achieve our impact through a target of 500 registered talents and an estimated figure of 50 talents to grow financially, 25 employers and 25 trainers on board, and an estimation of 30 talents employed in the first 8 months. And then shown on the slide is our roadmap for RUX in the coming 5 years. We will have features such as events and challenges, marketplace and gamification in 4 years from now. And 2025, we'll have RUX in a mobile application. We need a funding of $20,000 for tech development, OPEX, marketing, and curriculum development. So the Southeast Asians collaborated and founded RUX. Myself, Nirmesh, will be the CEO of RUX. And you got to invest on us because we are the only idea that focuses on employee or talent growth. And we value friendship between Malaysia and Indonesia. So are you ready to be the next RUX star with us? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would now like to ask Mr. Hussam to raise his question for Team 11.
Yes, thank you very much, Elena. I have 2 quick questions. Who's your current competitor, please, and what do you have that they don't have?
Okay, so my current competitor would be definitely focusing on Malaysia and Indonesia. So in Malaysia, we do have this e-latte where they have free video lessons, but certifications are not provided for those video lessons. And also they do not have the growth management system. You know, it is important for employers to actually monitor their employees to know how efficient they are in continuously developing themselves. In Indonesia, there are no video lesson certification provided as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hussam, and thank you, Narmesh. I would now like to request Mr. Sami Sardar to raise his question.
You have a many compatible company who is in the same line. You have to define your, how to say, difference actually, as the first question. Where is your strong potential for others to be attracted by your platform?
Okay, because definitely it's more towards to, like I said, our customer segment will be the young adults, 18 to 33 years old. That's why we are focusing in what they call this, in university graduates, because most of it, they are actually looking for experienced graduates. They are not looking for freshly graduates. So that is why I'm looking forward to establish roadshows in those universities, and also to cooperate with employers and you know, have hand-in-hand discussion and publish this opportunity to them.
Okay, thank you so much. Now I will give the jury members 2 minutes to note down their evaluation scores.
Alina, we have time actually. We still have 1.5 minutes. So jury member Nada has a question.
Oh, sorry, Nada. Miss Nada, please.
No worries. Amazing pitch, amazing presentation skills. I have to say that, very well done. You kept me very engaged. You're so fast at talking, which is so amazing. So good job for that, mashallah. I just want to ask you, so fresh grads, do you not target them at all? Fresh graduates?
I mean, I categorize fresh grads as unemployed graduates.
This is it. With your idea is in the same field where my startup is, Masar. And the problem that I'm trying to tackle is that fresh grads can't get employed because they're not qualified enough. So how are you going to target or serve the needs of the fresh grads to increase their employability so that the employers that you want to contact are interested in employing them?
Okay, in our online growth management system, we have actually a space called talents, in which that the employers will actually overview the talent's profile. So we'll set a KPI for each talent. They will have to reach a certain KPI so that they will be categorized as productive talent. So employers will actually hire them, you know, to actually note them on being productive. So when talents are productive, definitely employers will actually interview them and get to know them better. Yeah.
Amazing. Good job. I'd like to stay in contact with you. I'll forward you my email. Thank you so much. Good luck.
Okay. Thank you so much. Now moving on to the next pitch, pitch number 5, we will be having Team 50 who will be presenting on a web-based healthcare and employment platform for Syrian refugees. The project is called Syrians Relief. Please present your pitch.
Thank you very much. My name is Musa Al Hassan Kuroma. Our project is name is Syrians Relief. Every day, the Syrian refugees around the world keep on increasing, especially here in Turkey. And so our project aims to solve the problems they are facing. When we did our survey, we came up to the fact that Syrian refugees are facing so many problems, some of which are language barrier, lack of trust in the healthcare system, non-inclusion, and unemployment around the world. And we came up with a web-based healthcare and employment platform for them, where we be able to solve that problem through inclusion of Syrian refugees in the healthcare system, providing job opportunity for them, and with global collaboration, we can be able to do all of those things. Our goal is, in our first 6 months or 1 year, we aim to impact at least 300 Syrian refugees through employment and through getting them a good healthcare system. And we also aim to reach almost 5 refugee camps around Turkey. So these are some of our members in visiting refugee camp doing our project, while doing our statistics on the project. This is the website we built for the project. So our income basically will be from we'll take 5% from those recruitment, the student refugee that we employ, we'll take 5% of their salary, and also through donations and partnership. So our potential partners will be UNHRC, ISKUR, and other organizations around Turkey, and also the Turkish government through the foreign ministry. So these are our our competitors. So we have UNHCR, they also help refugees, and we have ISKUR, they also help people around Turkey to have jobs, and we have IHAHA, they are also into helping Syrian refugees. But then there's a big difference between we and them, which is we are both into help and employing Syrian refugees, and they all are behind us in certain conditions. These are my team members. We have Kausal, we have Ibrahim, we have Musa, which is me, Wamuri, and Zarif. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your pitch. Now, I would like to ask Mr. Amin Matni to ask his question, please.
All right, thank you, team, for the pitch. There is a challenge with your revenue model. As far as I know, any recruitment agency or recruitment enabler to a third party, an individual, is not allowed to take a recurrent success fee, such as a part of their salary. What you can only charge is the employer to pay you rather than the employee to pay you. And as you know, there's a huge scam about charging workers from sending countries to receiving countries with recruitment fees, where the employer should bear that cost. So you need to be bearing in mind what the international labor laws allow or not allow in this.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, actually, I'd like to contribute to that. In Turkey, it's really forbidden to charge employees. You can also only charge employers. That's the rule.
Thank you very much for your feedback.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Ms. Wadha, would you like to ask your question now?
Hi, yes. So I know they're solving important problems. I just don't want them to be disencouraged with the feedback. It means we didn't find the right solution that's fit to solve this problem. So the team is addressing something very crucial and important. However, I encourage them to keep searching for the perfect business model and the solution that fit to solve such a problem.
Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you very much.
Mr. Sayed Shahzad, would you like to ask your question?
I think I'm all right. We've raised those points already. No, thank you.
Okay. Would anyone else, would any of the other jury members like to ask a question? Okay. We can now move on to the next pitch. So next pitch is the Wonder app, enabling diverse learners, an educational application that enables schools to cater for diverse learners.
Thank you very much. And I'll just start this off. All right, I'll be ready to go now. Okay. All right, good afternoon, everyone. And we are the Wonder app team who have developed a concept to enable students with disabilities and diverse learning styles to be included in mainstream education successfully. Our target group includes people like Zainab, who inspires our mission, who was very lucky to enter mainstream schooling in Qatar for a few years, but had to be removed due to the inability of the school to accommodate her academic needs. So our target demographic is quite diverse in terms of mobility, communication, cognitive, and physical needs, but our solution is based on a very simple premise, which is a mobile or tablet-based interactive application solution that will help manage a classroom with different needs due to integrating specific functionalities into an app-based model. Our competition profile includes entities like Class Dojo and Khan Academy, but our mission is a little bit more advanced. As you can see on the left side of the screen, it looks like a typical class management app with student, teacher, parent, and school leadership portals, but we're going to focus on the student portal where our greatest value and difference can be seen. So it is very user-friendly in terms of the visual appeal, as well as it has various ask for help options in order to allow the student to be confident whether they're functioning from a remote or in-class setting. Here is a sample lesson with inclusive options from a Year 3 science class, and you can see that there are different ways of inputting and accessing data, whether we're talking about typing, recording, ASL, reading out loud, or various other plugins. This same lesson can be seen on the next screen in higher levels of complexity. And this is one of our strongest features, considering the fact that this appeals to not only students with disabilities, but also without disabilities, and just various different learning styles in order to allow the student to be able to access the curriculum at his or her own pace. We can also find the same lesson in, for instance, sensory-friendly colors in order to ensure that the student isn't overwhelmed with high contrast colors. And provide various plugins for assistive technology devices, which can gradually be expanded with new versions of the software product. Our market size in Qatar is quite significant in terms of schools with existing inclusion programs, but more so with schools without inclusion programs to educate them on establishing and managing diverse classrooms, as we're ultimately a social enterprise with the mission to place more students with disabilities into mainstream education settings. Our marketing strategy is multi-pronged, depending on the school's delivery, on-site, blended, or entirely remote, of course, depending on our current pandemic situation. Our business model is based on a subscription basis, providing a full product suite, training, consultancy, as well as networking with various educational specialists, depending on the subscription package that is opted for. Our team involves leaders with 3 different social missions centered around education, extensive experience in the local disability community in Qatar, and expertise in curriculum and public policy development. And lastly, our social impact is ultimately to ensure that schools are well equipped to handle diverse learners with full spectrum of needs, and the possibilities are so rich and empowering, even we wonder how wonderful wonder can be in allowing students with and without disabilities to learn together and wonder. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sabika, for this pitch. That was wonderful. Now, I would like to request Ms. Wadha to ask her question.
Actually, I wanted to questions. Have they approached MEDA, maybe the PUE and Qatar Foundation or the Ministry of Education to validate their ideas?
Well, actually, our validation of ideas was first from a community survey in terms of consulting various parents, teachers, educational specialists in order to understand, because as we all know that the, at least those who are in Qatar and in the education field know that students with disabilities, basically, if they are accessing mainstream education, it is an exception, not the norm. Secondly, in terms of suppliers, we have consulted Superwire, which is the main supplier that supplies MADA and all these other institutions and the ministry with their equipment. And we have very good relations with a supplier like that.
Okay, thank you so much. Ms. Nada, would you like to ask your question now?
Sure, I have a couple of questions, so let's be as quick and short as possible. Did you contact the Ministry of Education in Qatar themselves?
No, not yet. We haven't reached that stage.
Okay, did you validate it with like at least principals of schools to see how feasible it is? Is it easily implemented in schools?
We validated with parents, teachers, community actors, tested on students themselves, as well as people who work in education advocacy in the field in Qatar.
Okay, and the fees, I didn't see a number. Is there a number of the fees that you would be charging?
So the number of the fees, the subscription model, the fees have not been assigned as yet because it's still going to be varying depending on the kind of team that we can put together in order to get this going. Okay. Because it will require a lot of different specialists to come together.
who would be paying you? Is it the ministry? Is it the parents? Is it the school themselves? Who exactly?
School. It will be the school, because ultimately a school has a buy-in by marketing themselves, and it's an inclusive school, which is very rare in Qatar. That is how that is their selling point, and this is an investment that they would make. So it would be the school that will be providing the subscription
At the
fee.
same time, the school is very strictly restricted with a specific budget from the ministry. So I feel like if you just validated that, it would be the main point to see, would it actually work or not? Because you can easily get a no from them, and then what is there, like a plan B? How would you change that?
Really interesting, and definitely a valid point that we can pursue in the next stages, because for instance, when schools opt to choose just simple class management apps such as Class Dojo and so on and so forth, I'm not entirely aware that they do require any approvals from the ministry, but of course this requires curriculum delivery, so we can completely take that on board.
Not as approvals, as in I'm a teacher myself and I have used Class Dojo in my classes and it's for free. I use it myself, my Wi-Fi and everything. But if you're going to say that there's a fee, like it's as simple as the iPad, the tablets, all these tools, how would they be provided to the schools? So I feel like the main person that you should speak to before anyone else are the ministry. The validation that you have is good. Now you need to take it forward to the final step, the ministry, to actually see, is it feasible or not? That's the main point of it.
That's excellent feedback. And furthermore, because of the current pandemic situation, we actually have an upper point than we did about a year ago, because now schools are actively investing in iPads and people are getting more used to device learning. So this is actually an excellent time to look further into this idea, and then your feedback taken on board.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I would now like to ask Mr. Sayed to ask his question.
Well, look, I like the idea of validation. Nada raised some good points. I'm in ed tech. I've been doing it for ages, and I know all the spectrum of it. The first thing I would look into is, as your plan B, is training the teachers. Content creation is a massive mammoth task. That's just the wrong. I mean, I wouldn't go on that path. We've done content creation. It costs millions. It's painful. You have to keep it up to date. If you can get into teachers training, aware the teachers how to run these classes, provide them teachers training content, have a platform, I would go into it. My wife is a teacher, a psychologist and a teacher, and that's what exactly she does. We've trained teachers in Pakistan. I'm happy to help you. If you need any help, I can give you some pointers. But yeah, that's my space. I love that space, education. So I'm happy to give you some guidance there. Thanks, Nada.
Very much. Just if I know it was quite a quick pitch, but part of our subscription model also involves very heavily on teacher training and networking with other Senkos. And we have a really strong network with various stakeholders in Qatar who have really strong networks with other Senkos in various private schools across Qatar. But you're very, very much right on the training aspect.
Yeah, we've done work with Qatar Foundation as well, so we do have some inways there if you need any help.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. Now, lastly, Mr. Amit Matni, would you like to ask your question?
I was just, knowing the ecosystem. So I echo in terms of content development, it's a nightmare. So you already, shared your relationship with the Superwire, which is cool. I know my youth personally. So why I struggled in your pitch is what you're doing other than what my youth and Superwire are doing. So I believe this is an exact replica of an existing supplier. They do services, they do provide products. So I'm struggling with what is new other than what Superwire does.
Superwire basically is a supplier of assistive technologies, right? And very much, Mayuf and I we have very good relationships, and we have talked about collaborations in the future. What Class Dojo is put some of those items together with a curriculum, because one of the biggest issues that Mayuf himself, or Superwire as an entity, has pointed out is that even in Qatar, wherever they've distributed their products, the biggest issue is that teachers are just simply unable to connect the product with the curriculum. And so this allows both of these to come together and allow greater capacity. Because if you see, for instance, in Qatar, I'm rambling on now, so apologies. We just basically underestimate the number of beneficiaries of such a solution. But yes, I completely understand, but we would be fusing together these parties.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Sabika. Now we will be moving on to our next pitch, pitch number 7, which is about a platform-based mental and physical health service for youth in the MENA region, together from afar.
Hello, I'm gonna share my screen. All right, I think you can see my screen now, right? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right, I'm gonna start. Hello everyone, I'm Pamela Waked and I'm a member of a team of 6 people from various educational backgrounds. We are joined together by our commitment to volunteering and social work. I would like to tell you a bit about my story. About a year back, when the pandemic started, I had to stop working on my research project and I had to get used to studying online from home. I couldn't go to the gym or even go out, just like everyone else. But I coped with it by binging on food and Netflix series and procrastinating my work, which led me to feel even worse. So I remember at the time thinking that if I would know past mental health problems and I'm struggling to cope or get through well, I can only imagine those who suffer from depression or anxiety, how they are coping. And I know for a fact that I'm not alone. According to NHIS, during the pandemic, 4 in 10 adults reported symptoms of anxiety or depressive disorder compared to the 2019 report of 1 in 10. That is why we created Together From Afar, which is an online platform that targets youth in the MENA region from the age of 18 to 30. And it aims to prevent and reduce the mental and physical burden that the pandemic has placed on young adults. And it will do this in 3 main ways. First, it will provide the chance to schedule a one-on-one virtual sessions with a specialist. These could be psychologists, nutritionists, life coaches, etc., at a reduced cost of 50%. So from an average cost of $50 per session to $25 per session. Second, virtual support groups will be launched where an individual can join other people facing similar issues. Third, it will provide daily content in the form of tips and comics on social media platforms and in the form of scientific articles and blogs on our website. And this is how our website would look like in desktop and phone layout. Now, after scanning and researching the market, we categorized our competitors into 3 main sections. The traditional offline approach, those that provide virtual counseling sessions, and those that provide virtual support groups. And this is where we distinguish ourselves by providing the 3 services in one platform and online. And we do it at an undercut price for each session. And we don't only provide psychologists as specialists, but also dietitians and life coaches too. And as to our business model, we plan to have revenue from the cost of each session that we provide with a specialist, revenue from our store that we're going to create, and from affiliate links. With the help of DPCH program, we were able to reach halfway through our roadmap plan. We created a unique solution, we built a prototype and made changes according to the feedback of our target group. We know we still have a long way to launch our website, but we are on track. We plan to reach our customers through our website and social media accounts, through our collaborations with established organizations on the field, and through our partners and expert specialists who will work with us. Finally, we call for your support to help us make the well-being of our youth a priority while helping us find the right partners and team members that could help us take our idea and vision to the next step. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much, Team 45. Now I would like to ask Ms. Nada for asking her question.
Okay, thank you for your for pitching your idea. Let's say I'm a psychologist and I want to be part of your platform. Is there any benefit for me?
I'm gonna answer that if there's no problem. Okay, so of course there is, because of the increasingly the situation in Lebanon in particular, since we're starting at a small scale, because of the economic situation and everything that's happening with the currency, like new graduates aren't finding jobs. And people who have already been employed are losing their jobs. So we all, like, the unemployment rate is increasing, and there are a lot of qualified people ready to help people in need that do not have a job right now. So our idea benefits both sides, those that need the support and those who can give the support, can give quality support, but don't have the chance to. So yes, of course.
Will I be making income as a psychologist being part of
yes, of course.
How do you assess that?
Okay, so as you saw on the roadmap, one of the steps is we are currently forming a database where we are collecting information like professionals in our local community who have the qualifications but don't have a job currently. So we are contacting these people, and then, for example, they will give us their schedule, and accordingly we will provide their credentials for customers to pick, because we have a filter system, to pick the person most suitable for them, the professional most suitable for them, and then the professional would be receiving part of the money, of course, since they are the ones providing the service. We are just a platform where these two entities meet.
Okay. Now I'm the person with anxiety, depression, whatever it is, and I need help. How will I know that these people are qualified enough? They are, they have all the qualifications. They're credible enough to give me the service. Not only how would I know, you can post what they are. How will you assess that they are good enough to be part of the platform?
Yeah, okay, that's a great question. First of all, definitely we are collecting the academic credentials, so the certificates, the names of the universities they attended, any workshops they held, etc. So the academic qualifications, of course, and we also have a space, the support groups. On the support groups, the clients will be able to discuss their experiences. So, for example, if they had a session with, let's say, professional A who has credentials in family therapy, for example, they would share the experience. So not only would we be verifying academic credentials, there would also be reviews shared on the platform.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you so much. Do any of the other jury members have a question? Okay, Mr. Hussam, would you like to ask your question now?
Yes, thank you, Elena. Thank you for the presentations on the pitch. I can see that this is the most presentation that relate to the post-humanity, the most applicable one compared to others. However, my question here will come, since it's related to the post-humanity, post-COVID humanity, cost-wise, how much did you calculate, or you still did not find out how much would it cost you so far to build such a platform where you connect the dots, the provider, the service provider, which are the psychologists, and the people in need? And do you have any numbers?
Yeah, so for some of the aspects we have more accurate estimates, whereas for others we are still checking things out. So, for example, for some of the services, instead of providing actual money for the person's service, we are having a collaboration where we give them part of where our service benefits them, and then their service would benefit us in return. So, for example, some people we will have to pay, we'll have to find cash to give them. For example, the software developer, because on our team we do not have a software developer. But for example, some of the people on our team are qualified in these fields. For example, one of the members in our team is a social worker. So, for example, the service she would be providing, or the NGO she works, and the people there would volunteer. So some of the aspects, yes, we figured them out, how we're going to be employing them. Some of them won't even cost us money. Yeah, and others will.
Do you have a figure? Do you have a number?
A number.
As to establishing the platform or the website, we don't have a number yet, but we aim to find probably a co-founder, someone who would like to become a co-founder with us, someone who has the technical skills to establish the platform. That would be the best solution in order to reduce the cost of actually building the platform. But we didn't actually go yet into the numbers of how much the website or the platform would cost. We haven't done that yet, so we don't have a number. But I mean, a few thousands would be an average of what a website usually requires, probably to be established, I guess.
Since we decided to start at a small scale, we wanted to start at a bigger scale at first, but then we decreased the scale so that it can be affordable at first. And then we also considered, because there are a lot of unemployed professionals in our local community, we considered that maybe instead of paying them a salary, it would be commission-based. So, for example, they could provide a service for a couple of days a week, and then they would be paid according to like the clients they are getting. So, and we can start on a small scale, benefiting the local community, whether it's the professionals or the people seeking help, and it would be able to operate according to that smaller scale, and then we would build up as we go.
Thank you, Rima. Now for the last question, Mr. Sayed, would you like to ask, please?
Well, thank you. I think I was going to ask you, I think Simon asked some of the questions. You need to have a tech guy in your team. You can't, you're talking about the platform, but you don't have a tech guy, which is quite, you know, so you got to have one of those persons. And plus, it sounds like, it sounds more of a social initiative to me, not a business in there where you're presenting. It could be business. You also have to think about the legalities around it. There's a lot of compliance around these sort of services, usually where we live. So I'm not sure about Lebanon, but you probably have to look into the legal side of it as well. It could be quite daunting. So you may want to look into that too.
I would like to add, if you permit.
Sir.
Yeah, actually, after the COVID post-COVID era, and even now psychologists as well as doctors are going into this phase with attending of a 1 or 2 session in their how to say the patients. They are following up with the distance sessions this type, but you have a challenge to market and make the visibility of your platform or acceptance of your platform, the market area which you are focusing on. This is the challenge which you are facing. Tech guy you can find, professionals you can find, of course, those who are in need you would find, but the issue is how to market, how to get others to know your platform. You are the one, and you are the one who are bringing the professionals with the skills. This is the challenge which you will face, I believe. If you succeed in this challenge, you have the future, but I can guess.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you
will
for
keep
the
that in
great
mind.
presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, we agree with you. We agree with you.
Thank you. Now we will be moving forward for our last pitch for today. It's Team 29. They will be presenting on their project, which is about using technology to prevent and eliminate gender-based discrimination in Muslim communities in 3 generations. Project Arwa.
Could you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Hi, everyone. So my name is Ayan Saeed. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ayan Saeed. I'm a 28-year-old Muslim Somali British from Tower Hamlets, the most disadvantaged area in London, where half of us grew up in poverty. From a young age, I committed myself to my community and the struggles that we were experiencing. I became a science teacher, and after 5 years of being part of an education system that was failing children that looked like me, I transitioned to become a gender-based violence advocate and consultant, and I founded Voicing Voices. I was a victim at a very young age myself, which led to me being severely depressed for most of my teenage years. This limited my potential and achievements as an ambitious girl that had a lot to offer to the world. I struggled with physical health, building relationships, and my overall well-being. Our healthcare system, like many around the world, failed me and wasn't equipped to deal with the intersectional factors of being Muslim, Black, and a migrant. In my adulthood, I discovered how significant and lifelong this trauma is, and I wasn't the only one. I worked in Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, and the stories of our sisters and our children is the same. Right here in Qatar, Arwa's son witnessed his mother being shot in the head by his own father. 1 in 4 children witness domestic violence like this, and this is not the only one. My story, our story, is the stories of 231 million women and children's story globally. And these numbers have significantly increased during COVID. But now we have the chance to be able to create safe spaces to prevent gender-based violence. We want to take the power from the hands of abusers and place the solution in the hands of our community. In my research, I found that not many apps were dedicated to they were mostly only dedicated to, they were only dedicated to the victims, and they weren't educational at all. They were more prevention and emergency, and this one even limited in the minute area as well. We've already, our aim is to systematically address this pandemic that's happening to 1 in 3 women that you all know in some form or another. We already started with a 5-year partnership with Qatar University medical students, where we are training them to raise awareness. We have been holding monthly sessions online where we've been partnered with organizations in Qatar to discuss this, and we've received positive feedback. We are hoping to address it individually through community, civil society, and data. And then we want to use an education app so that we can collect data and use this app to give it to governments and local authorities and NGOs. And you can help us amplify this message as we design courses, share this research with NGOs, school workshops, and community projects. We're already connected with various other organizations as well, and this is going, and we just need you to invest and believe in the message so that we can protect women and children within the Muslim community who have been neglected for far too long. Thank you for listening, and we hope you can join us to end inequalities.
Thank you, Ayan. Now I would like to ask Ms. Nada to ask a question.
Thank you. Thank you, Ayan, for mentioning your story, and full respect for mentioning that. I'm all in for the initiative that you're saying, the purpose behind it. It is extremely needed now more than ever with all the stories that are coming up. I just wanted to know, who are your competitors?
So currently in Qatar in itself, they've started the work now. So Qatar Olympic is doing a gender review. We've got Doha Women's Forum, who also kind of does events. But there isn't this, especially for the Muslim community, there isn't. And globally, there's around 100 apps, and all of them, again, are about emergency services. So where's a shelter, or how can we help when the crime has already happened? But we've got young boys being demonized and fueled into the cycle. We've got women fueled into the cycle, and no one's doing anything about it because we're brushing it under the carpet. And because this is technology, it doesn't expect, because in our surveys and research, people are afraid to talk to us, people are afraid to discuss it. So by it being an app and a technology device, it protects, but also informs and prevents.
All right. And did you reach out to Aman Center here in Qatar?
Yep, I've been messaging them for the past 3-4 months. I've been chasing everyone up. And that's why I decided to go to the youth and train them up and medical students, because we haven't received that much response. And I don't know if it's capacity or, again, because this is such a sensitive issue. So because with your help, and you know the culture, you know the community, you know the right way of speaking about it. And I feel like I can be a bit too passionate, so it might scare people off.
Go for it. Go for it.
So I need you guys essentially to be able to amplify this, because the ball is already rolling. I've invested a year, I've stopped working and invested an entire year into developing this. So
amazing. If anything, I'll pop in my email. Please reach out. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. For the next question, Ms. Wadha, would you like to ask your question now?
Yes. So first of all, thank you, Ayan. I'm very impressed with the presentation and with the approach you use to tackle such problem, and you raise it in a time that's really sensitive for women in this region. Especially, we just all be in touch with the story we hear from Kuwait and the other story you used in Qatar, and it's really intense time where we see pattern and we see rise of this problem. So I'm happy to hear someone is working on it. But the challenge that I've been hearing a lot, underlying many of the existing solutions, is the support of government and people involved in the front lines to back up such solution. So yes, many ask you if you worked with Aman Center or any of these solutions, but do you have the support of police, of people who are also they are the front line. We cannot avoid them. As much as we raise awareness, as much as we have people who support such a problem, but there are people who are supposed to be active in this area and need to partner with you, or you need to partner with them to make sure you have their buy-in and support in such scenarios.
I think the issue that we have, whether it's the government, whether it's police authorities, and which is mostly men, is the unknown. And I feel like by talking about it and advocating about it and just saying this is okay, there's nothing to be ashamed of. It's a human issue, and it's not just happening in Qatar, it's happening all over the world. And we feel that once that's more of our second year, third year plan, if you remember the roadmap. So the first year we're working with these medical students and they're going into hospitals. Our next step is training police officers, especially with the response. So a lot of our survey was that police were saying, oh, it's a family issue or whatnot. But if they can show a bit more compassion and empathy, basic skills, and that's all that's lacking. We don't have to do something major, like we don't have to change our culture and we don't have to change our religion or anything like that. Qatar already has all the foundations, it's just connecting the dots. So that's what we're hoping to do in our second and third year if we succeed. We will succeed, sorry, we will succeed. Correction.
No doubt, I really have no doubt.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Ms. Natalia, would you like to ask your question?
Thank you. Ayan, it's so impressive, but also refreshing to hear you and how passionate you are. I don't think this is something you should ever be apologetic for. On the contrary, I think we need to be more vocal about these issues in all communities, as you said. So I remember we spoke very briefly about this, you and I. I think one of the things that are needed, I'm also looking at, I'm thinking of the experience of different organizations across many countries that we've operated in, especially when it comes to gender-based violence, is that two things for me are super important. One is, as you said with Nada, the need to reach out to locals, to people who are from a particular community, because they understand how these issues can be voiced out and how to address them in a certain language, in a certain context, without having to justify any of the backgrounds. And I'm sorry that we still need to justify sometimes, but this is our reality. And I think the more we are able to confront this, the better it is for this type of issues. The second thing is, I agree as well with what you said. I mean, yes, we can address the police. I agree with Wadha. I mean, there are stakeholders that we need to address. Doctors and medical students and people on the front lines are very, very important. Police as well. But there is the underlying fact that in our communities, I am Lebanese myself, and though we have pushed for a law to pass on protecting women and children from domestic violence in general and gender-based violence in particular, the issue of it's a family thing came back in parliament, not only at the community level, but also at the policy level. There might be some resistance there, and I'm a policy person myself, so I would push for that all the way up to policy. I would be careful not to dismiss these what you hear from communities in terms of what is said and how do we tackle this particular issue, so people stop framing it, oh, this is a private matter. No, it's not a private matter. This is a public matter. And I think this is something that we still have to figure out a way around, so that oh, this is a family issue between a wife and her husband, etc., is no longer used to justify as well any of these events. So thank you.
I feel like it's a generational curse that we're all just silently witnessing. So.
Thank you. Mr. Burak, would you like to ask your question now?
Thank you. Actually, it's not a question. I would like to thank you for your presentation and for your idea. I'm not sure if your solution is the right one, but the problem is the right one. And that's the most important part, because most entrepreneurs are focusing on the product solution. They love it, but that's the wrong approach, actually. You have to love the problem. If you love the problem, you will have a solution. I'm sure of it. And you have the passion. I would just like to say that keep going. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And lastly, Mr. Said, would you like to give your comments or ask a question?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I've lived in Canary Wharf for almost half my life, so I know Tower Hamlets really well. I've seen the devastation in that place. As Burak Bey was saying, I don't see business in it, but I love the passion, the idea, and I am personally willing to help you, to give you that initial platform that you need to create the awareness. So we do have a platform. We've used it for millions of users. you don't have to spend a dollar or a pound in this case, and you can have the platform for free. So I'm quite happy to do it now if you get in touch with me. And then we don't have to develop it. Honestly, it's not going to cost you anything. We've trained 250,000 teachers on that platform. So it's an awareness platform. You can have it now. So that's all. I just wanted to help you from being from the same hood in it, Ayan.
Thank you so much.
It's all right.
Okay, and lastly, Mr. Amin Matni.
Well, I first greet you for standing up in your life. There's a saying that says, like, you're like a poet. You wear a smile, but you have a lot of scars. So go do what you're doing. You're doing awesome. Do it with pride. You're in a justice place. You're asking for justice. I think the cornerstone of everything is how been taught, and this idea that I was privileged when I was going out to school, and I would say many decades ago, that there was something called civic education, which does not exist anymore. And then that initiates kids to be equal, to have ethics and global ethics, and that element, fortunately, I took in my life, which is absent in many, teaches kids. And if we're talking about, not to point out to who is responsible here, but the family is responsible, right? The kids are always guided by the parents, and if you work bottom up, whether you want to tackle it on a uni level, because these are adults going towards maturity and how they will behave in the future. So that's a great stepping stone. It's all about adaptability, and to the point mentioned by Sayed, if how you can scale this approach through automation by creating a portal where you enable other teachers to go and refer to certain material, then your message will become broader and broader, and hopefully you start to skew up the misalignments of perceptions and behavior in our societies. But yeah, I greet you for that.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. Would any of the other jury members like to ask a question or any final comments?
I would like to add, actually, we look everything in a business perspective. That is the conflicting area which we are facing in this case. We should be not looking what is in return in a profit. Return sometimes is not in a financial profit. Return sometimes in a how to say a social impact. I mean, wise profit. That there, if you ask me that whether this idea will work or not in terms of business, I'm sure there will be a lot of resistance, not only from government, from ourselves, from our family itself, from within ourselves even. But if you think of as a problem, as solving the issue of the society, this is I think one of the most prominent idea which we have to tackle with. Not any country, all countries having these troubles. You don't be ashamed of naming any nation. We have many struggles here in our country, and we are hearing in many other countries as well. I'm taking this proposal as a social impact-wise, highly motivated and more effective proposal, which all society very much in need. Thank you for your presentation.
So much for your kind words. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Nada?
Just building up on the words of Mr. Sami, they're completely correct. At the end of the day, just like Ayan's idea and everybody's idea, the fact that you want to do this itself is powerful. This is why you guys are here. It's not, yes, we want to make profit, but at the end of the day, what is social entrepreneurship? Why is there a term called social entrepreneurship if we're not going to support such ideas? Everybody's ideas, I'm talking about everyone. the value of profit does not equate to the value of the cause or the problem that you are trying to solve. So at the end of the day, whatever resistance or challenges or restrictions that you may face, you need to fight, because we need people just like each and every one of you that will fight. We need to talk about it. All the problems that you mentioned, someone needs to raise awareness, and it takes one person to talk about it and all of us to support you, so that at the end of the day, we do fix the problems that we need to fix, and we do help the people in our societies that need the help. And at the end of the day, this is how we will truly create impact in our communities. So thank you all for having such amazing ideas. It was just honestly a beautiful experience for me to just honestly hear these stories and to, at the end of the day, build connections. So I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nada. Thank you so much to all of the teams. That was truly incredible. I'm just left in awe, like such innovative and creative projects. It will be very difficult for me just to say which team was the best. So that's why we have the jury members to make this decision for us. So now we will be sending the jury members to the breakout room to finalize the decision of the winners.
Or we need to do any action?
No, I am doing it right now. Just give me 10 more seconds. It will be done.
I was about to leave the room and go to the other room.
We can try. Yeah. Sorry, just that I think I'm getting old because I cannot see.
You're just fasting, Dr. Tuk. You're not that old.
Yeah. I started there, everyone. I don't trust myself because of the fasting effect. So do you see any jury in the room right now? Sorry for asking this weird question, but
I think
Alina, I sent you to the room, but it's not allowing me.
yes.
Did I make a mistake? Is there a jury in this room left?
I'm still here.
Mr. Brock?
I'm in with you.
Oh, sorry. I cannot see you here. It's so strange. Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay. So, there, everyone, how about we listen to the DPCH music?
Design post, cover humanity.
Hi again, everyone. It seems the jury is still going on. And let me take you back to 2019. When I first met my colleagues from Lebanon, the time actually when we organized the first ever Maker Majlis. And after that, we started the whole platform. And Design Post-COVID Humanity actually has been an extension of Maker Majlis. And it was a space, it was an experiential space with multiple partners, different educational activities, so on and so forth. And afterwards, we produced some videos. Let me share with you some of those videos with some cool music. And this might be a nice way to go back just a few years back and see what has transpired. I think it's almost done. Dr. Mona, I see you here.
Yes, I would really like to say well done for all the teams. I think they are still deliberating, so maybe Dr. Tokyo would like to join them to speed up the process a little bit. And yeah, I just wanted to say to all the teams, you've really done a great job and a great improvement since the very first pitch, I would say. I do have to leave now as well because I have another pitch happening at AUB. So also wish my students luck. And you're all winners to me, honestly. This is just like an honorary thing if you think about it. And we want you all to keep doing what you're doing. You're doing really great, and we're here to support you. As we mentioned earlier, it's true that the program is coming to an end. However, we do believe that we can still support you in many ways. All the results from the mentoring sessions will be acted upon, and we will be sharing them with Dr. Tok because he also has a lot of connections that can help you with your projects, whether you would like to pursue them or not. So thanks again, everybody. Well done. And I hope you will leave from this meeting, regardless of the result, really happy and proud of yourselves. And again, happy Ramadan, have a blessed month, and definitely look forward to keep in touch. Love you, bye-bye. Stay in the room. Okay, bye.
Okay, I would just like to ask all of the teams of what was their favorite part about the DPCH program. So now that I can see Narmesh, would you like to give your comments?
My favorite part is actually the mindfulness sessions. Yeah, I think it's the best among all. I mean, I think everyone will agree as well. Yeah, because it kind of like, it's not a talk, it's basically not a talk, but basically it's kind of like a relaxation session for all of us. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone agreed on me. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you, Nirmesh. What about Miss Sabika? Miss Sabika, do you have any comments, any feedback about the program? Would you like to share?
Thank you, Alina. No, it's been an incredible journey. I think enjoyed all the academic lectures and such a variety of them. So whatever interest you pick on, whether it's in STEM fields or social sciences or whatever, there's something for everyone. So I think I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. What about Ayan? Ayan, would you like to share something? Can't hear you, you're on mute.
For me, it was the community. I think us coming together from different parts of the world and just kind of connect. Like Sabika, we've met on here. I've met a lot of people on here that I wouldn't have had an opportunity to meet otherwise. So sisters for life now, you're stuck with me, but yeah. But it's been incredible and I'm just grateful that we had that experience together. So thank you.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Iman, I believe Iman is back from the first team. Iman, would you like to share something if you're still here?
Hey everyone, yeah, thank you, Alina. I'm here. I think the best is what I share the same thing what Sabika mentioned. The series of academic lectures, they were very interesting, and I wasn't expecting this much depth when I signed up. So it exceeded our expectations a lot. So we're very grateful to have been part of DPCH, and of course the community, and seeing that there are people like us involved in many projects. We hope to keep these connections, inshallah, in future. So yeah, that's for me.
Inshallah, inshallah. Thank you, Iman. What about, do we have anyone from team 24?
Yes, Alina, we're all here, I think. So the best part, I feel like overall what everyone said is definitely true. And it was an amazing experience overall. I love the design of the program, how all of these things were very creatively designed in order to take us from just an idea and how to develop it further. And then throughout the process, we were attending all these lectures, as everyone mentioned, these academic lectures, which were getting us more in line on how to bring that idea to a reality or create something out of it. So that entire design of this program was absolutely wonderful. It was an amazing learning experience. So far, we learned a lot out of it, and which gave help to the project that we're doing and many other things that we might be doing in life. So alhamdulillah, overall, it was wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much for this. Yeah, all thanks to Professor Evren Talk and Miss Bayan Khalid. These two are the brains behind this project. And we currently have the Ramadan Summit going on. And after this, we will be having the Ramadan Talk by Mr. Haider. So you should definitely join in that. And from the other teams, do we have anyone from More Culture?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, would you like to give your feedback about the program and what you enjoyed about it?
Well, that was a long journey, a very beautiful adventure too. Actually, I learned many things that I also shared with my surroundings in my real life here. I also was very inspired by the pictures and the projects of my colleagues who also know the pleasure of being all part of one community and joining every session and working on the project. I think one of the best experiences is the World Cafe, where we could discover each other. It's like a worldwide experience, and at the same time we connected with each other, and yeah. Wish that maybe next year it will be like a new edition. I don't know, maybe, hopefully.
Yes, inshallah. We have a lot of exciting events lined up, so just stay tuned. And now back to Professor Talk.
Okay. Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Hi everyone. It's such a kind of like, I've never done this before, by the way, announcing the winners. Like, thank you so much to all of you, their participants, their teams, their organizations, their jury members, and every single person who got involved in Design Post-COVID Humanity, Ta'aruf, Ta'awun, Tarahum program, to our school, to our partners, everyone who exists. Thank you so much. So without further ado, I know that we have a presentation coming soon, and we are so sorry. We apologize from Mr. Haidar Wasim for the delay. We have actually 4 winners. Number 1 is the honorary winner, the winner of the winners.
Wait, can we have a drum roll?
I don't have a drum. Does someone have a drum? Like
here.
Do it. 3, you
can make some noises.
1.
The honorary winner, the winner of winners is Project Arwa.
Woo!
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
In our finding, actually, the result, Heya Hona is the number 1, is the apart from the honorary award. Congrats to Heya Hona. Wonder App is number 2. Congrats to Wonder App. And number 3 is Together from Afar. Congrats.
Ooh.
Millions of congrats. So dear colleagues, please stay in touch with us, because some of our amazing jury members already expressed their willingness to support and keep providing additional help to help you, actually, to promote you in your future endeavors, to make your products and services mature, your applications sustainable and viable. So thank you so much once again. I feel a little bit under pressure because we are late for the next talk. But if you would like to attend, it's happening now here in this room, and we can actually start the iftar together in 1 hour. And thanks again to all the jury members, all the organizations who supported us, and once again to the participants of Design Post-COVID Humanity. You are the real architects of this experience. Thank you all.